Hi everyone. Playwright Eugene Ionesco once said, "Indeed, 2 days' travel, the discovery of an unfamiliar city, slow down the rush of events. 2 days in a new country are worth 30 spent in the same place we're used to. Days shortened by triteness, sometimes debased by familiarity." On a larger scale than that employed by Ionesco, perhaps 11 months in my case, as opposed to 2 days, we all experienced, and whether in Japan or right here in our city of Chicago, his belief in the importance of travel. During the summer of 2009, as I tried to mentally imagine a year in Besançon, where is that, France, what may go well and what may not go so well, I kept returning to the fact that this experience would be separate from any that I've had thus far, whether at home in St. Louis or in Galesburg at Knox. At that point, a year didn't seem so scary when, at the end of it all, I'd returned to where I'd come from, where I'd left off. However, what I came to slowly realize is that we carry ourselves, our whole selves, with us wherever we go. And when we return to wherever we went, those experiences follow us home. So first, learning about French college students and how simply eating at the university cafeteria became an event in itself changed the way I view every moment spent with my friends in the U.S. I have a lasting image of the French law school boys waiting outside of the cafeteria while my new Swedish acquaintance and I ran over from the international language school where our professor had just let us out from a class. On the way over, I was thinking, why haven't they texted? Weren't they growing impatient? Oh, they probably just went into the cafeteria. I'm sure they have somewhere to rush off right after lunch. And upon arrival, I was shocked to see that they were all still standing there waiting patiently. The value placed on time with friends, impressed me. Granted, Juliette had been very ecstatic to meet a real live Swedish woman, someone blonde especially. Thursday lunches then became a tradition and allowed me to pick up on several other French mannerisms along the way. For instance, when you know that you need to leave early for a class at 13:30, you need to announce it to the group beforehand so they don't see it as rude when you rush off. Placing more value on social interactions because they almost always give us the chance to learn something new helped me create stronger relationships with the people whom I care about most. Second, not understanding why my family, my host family, didn't treat me as an instant best friend changed the way I approached new people. During the first month in their home, I'd go back into my room at night thinking, why don't they smile at me? I feel like such an outsider. What am I doing wrong? Do they even want me to be in their house? And with all these questions spinning in my head, I dreaded at the end of each evening when I'd have to go try to calm myself down before going to sleep. So I started sticking around after dinner, trying, most often awkwardly, to participate in their very heated conversations. One night, however, they were talking about their extended family, and unlike politics, I knew that vocabulary. So I began to pose simple questions. What were they like? How often did they see them? And luckily, my host mom took an instant liking to this. After dinner, she took me from their kitchen into their home office, where she turned on the computer and showed me a slideshow that ended up lasting 2 hours, explaining their life and their extended family. I learned that they have a love of hiking, that they enjoy spending time at their grandparents' farm, which I then got to visit later in the summer, and they had a desire to travel to Africa. And when I went back into my room that night, I thought, wow, these people have already invited me into their home. Now my job is to figure out what this invitation has to offer. And from that point on, I learned that I needed to be much more proactive in my relationship to them. Thirdly, spending Christmas and New Year's with my maternal grandmother's family in Latvia taught me the value of unconditional love and the value of my own family back at home. I arrived on a very, very cold day in Riga where my mom's cousin and his daughter greeted me with a huge bouquet of flowers. Granted, these people had met me when I was 2 years old in the States. I didn't really know them. And when I finally got to my mom's aunt's home, Zintra, in their town of Sassis that night, she took the calendar off the wall and said, here's what we're going to do each evening of the whole 2 weeks you're here. And I was shocked. I just asked them to go visit their home over Christmas and New Year's. I didn't expect to have a full itinerary of an entire vacation. So granted, it taught me to appreciate my family at home much, much more. And I'm sure all of you can relate to some of these experiences. And I hope that many of you agree with UNESCO when he says that time is relative. An intense experience in a new place can be worth just as much as a longer amount of time in the place we call home. Luckily, these new world experiences have all come back to us in our quote-unquote old world. And thank you for your time.